over this USA Today article. I'll give you the floor in 1 second. I'm realizing, and probably I'm the last one to realize it, that both sides have the same story. They're like, Trump's a pedophile. We're like, you guys are letting pedophiles out on the street. Do you know what I mean? That like every like it's just the same. We don't even have different stories. It's not
You're
like
gay. No, you're gay.
yeah, exactly. We don't even have different stories. You're letting rapists out on the street. Your politicians are rapists. Like we're just yelling the same thing at each other, and no one's drilling down. And later on in a minute here, I'm going to pull up this USA Today article, which is a liberal slant, and I'm going to read through it with you and show you how it's like we're making no progress. By the way,
it's even the Charlie Kirk thing, like how how is this okay on the right, and now this guy dies. How is this okay on the left? And not to compare them to one another, because there is a very important distinction, but it's the same. We're getting upset over the same things. You killed our guy. We killed your guy.
It's a trip. There is a distinction though in the reaction.
Massive distinction.
It's just like I'm willing to be, unfortunately, I'm more than willing to be friends with liberals. I have no issues with them, like on a personal level. I don't wish anyone any harm. It seems to be the left is just violence and shutting down communication seems to be the way. Hey, it's the same reason Democrat presidents always had this policy, like, don't talk to Kim Jong-un, right? And Trump went over there and talked to him. And then what did the left do? Instead of saying, "Oh, that's cool, he's big enough to go talk to him," it's he's a dictator lover. It's a trip. Okay, what did you want to say? You want to tell a story?
Yeah, it's a story maybe even of white knighting, and you'll get why this story is important, kind of relevant to your life and my life. But I moved to this neighborhood, or to this house, a little over a year ago. It's on it's a corner lot. The front road is a 2-lane road that gets a moderate amount of traffic, and the side road that you turn off on is a dead end. It's about 500 to 600 meters long. It's incredibly quiet. The houses are spaced out like everyone's on an acre or more. It's very peaceful. Mostly old people, one young couple, maybe 2 middle-aged couples. The young couple has twins. The middle-aged couple have probably kids that are like between 15 and 25. Everyone else is older than dirt. There's one black family, one Vietnamese family. Everyone else is old and white.
Except for you.
Except for, gingers. I'm trying to think of if we have any Hispanic people. I don't think there's any Hispanic people on the street. I think it's just old white people. This one black family who are really quiet. You just like never see them. And then this one Vietnamese family. Anyway, so we move in, and Lizzie and I get into this habit. It's like every night after dinner, we go for a walk. We walk to the end of the street and back, and it's about a 15-minute walk. And there's this one house that had gone up for sale. Complete, like, it's a brick ranch, so it has good bones. But from the images, the inside was just totally, like, it needed to be gutted and completely redone. Every other house in the street's really, really nice. They're not mansions, but they're like 2,000 to 3,000 square foot homes that are just really nice, built in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And so this house goes up on the market, doesn't sell, and then it looks like they do a really shitty renovation job. They paint it fucking light blue. They paint the brick light blue. They paint the fucking back deck white. Yeah. And it's about halfway down. So it's about
Don't paint brick. Don't paint brick, you jackasses.
I don't know. I like white brick sometimes. I think it looks nice, but definitely not blue. Definitely not milky marine light blue, like turquoise.
Brick for a reason. You don't paint your gold necklace unless you're 7 years old.
That's true. Yeah. So we're living in this neighborhood for about 6 months. We get to know all the neighbors, and then this new family moves into that house. They're black, and they've got like 6 kids. They don't have a car. all of a sudden, it's like loud and rowdy. They're walking down the street, screaming and yelling. And I'm getting vulnerable here. And so my first and my initial reaction, they've got like a recliner in the driveway. My initial reaction is like trash all over the yard. At one point, they've got this kid and he's just pelting rocks at my dogs. And my dogs are crazy. My dogs are crazy, so I'm not really worried about them. But I'm like, come on, you're gonna throw rocks at my fucking dogs? Kid's like 5 or 6. So what am I
like
gonna
at
do?
your house, or your dogs are loose at his house?
No, my dogs are in our yard and they're walking by my yard throwing rocks at my dogs.
Okay. All right.
So I'm like, damn, like this sucks. We had this peaceful neighborhood and this one family moves in. It's like, okay, I don't want him to ruin it. So I go out of my way to introduce myself to the father and the mother. And I end up inviting, he's overweight, used to serve in the military. Now he does tattoos.
That's cool. So you got to
Yeah.
know him. You chatted.
Yeah, I got to know him.
Yeah.
And I started having him over to work out twice a week. He said he
No
wanted to get in
shit.
shape. Yeah, he wanted to lose
You're a
weight. And
boss.
I'm like, hey, come over. And I had already been training my other neighbor. She's 75, an amazing woman. I've been having her over twice a week for like a year to train.
Another old lady on the street.
Yes, she lives right behind me and she's the coolest. She's the best. And so I started inviting him over. I'm like, I want to get to know this guy. And at bare minimum, I want to make sure that him and I are friends. So that A, I'm loving thy neighbor, and B, I'm kind of taking care of my community. Not that it's my role to take care of it, but if I have something to offer, I want to offer it.
Yep.
So I let this guy into my home. I let him into my gym. I let him into my space, and we work out twice a week. And then one day I'm running by the house and I see CPS there. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I hope nothing's up.
Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
How do you know it's Child Protective?
They have a CPS car, like a thing in the car.
Fuck.
And then another
Fuck.
another several times I'm jogging by the house because I use that for my 400, my 800-meter run. And I just hear yelling, like crazy loud yelling from the house. I'm like, whatever. I got yelled at as a kid.
Hey, and when
Nothing
you have
crazy.
5 or 6 kids, there's gonna
Yeah.
you gotta roar a little bit. I got 3 boys. You gotta roar every once in a while.
And then when we had our miscarriage, stillbirth, he saw our Instagram post. He texted us. It was such a kind note. He was like, hey, I'm praying for you guys, whatever. And then the other day, 5 cop cars speed down my street in an ambulance, going to his house. So I talked to the neighbor who lives right across the street. It doesn't matter what his name is. He lives right across the street. He's about our age, has twins and a wife. I text him like, hey, what's going on? He's like, well, they're at this guy's house and we've seen cops over there, a few times. We've seen, an ambulance over there a few times. We've seen CPS over there a few times. I was like, man, that doesn't make me feel good about letting this guy into my home and having him around my space. And ends up, this guy gets into an ambulance with one of their kids and they drive off. And, I don't know what the end result is, but at the end of the day, it's a lesson to me in that there's a fine line in loving thy neighbor and caring for other people. And there's also, at this point where you cross over the line, where you have enough information about someone that it doesn't, statistically, it's not a good idea to let them into your personal space. And that line, we're now over it. 6 cop cars down the street, an ambulance, CPS. At that point, when Lizzie and I have children, even if we don't ever have children, I for sure don't want to let someone who's involved with 6 police officers, an ambulance, CPS, into my personal space. It's dangerous. And it's stupid of me to want to make myself feel good to help someone who I think needs help. He doesn't need my fucking help. You know what I mean? That is incredibly presumptuous. And it's essentially white knighting to presume that he needs my help. And then additionally,
well, you could also couch it as you see you have a skill and a service to provide, and this guy could utilize it. And being that he is on your street, you are taking care of your own community by loving on him. That may be one less fight he has with his wife. By getting him fit might make him a better and more calm dad for his kids.
Right.
I mean, that's just what being human. Greg Glassman said this to me one time. Our only value as humans is what we can offer to other human beings.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I still feel that way, but at the same time, is it worth me taking the risk? Is being human with one person in my neighborhood worth me taking the risk that at one point he yells at me or he gets angry with me? And maybe
Yeah.
it's not him yelling and getting angry,
Yeah.
but at what point is it
Maybe it's
worth
his
the
wife
risk?
abusing him.
Right. And it 100% could be. Or the kids beating the crap out of each other. Cause I know my
Right.
sisters beat the shit out of me before. The
Right.
point is, at what point is it worth the risk? And at
Yeah.
what point have I gone from, you know, rationally saying, "Hey, I'm going to try to make an impact," and now I've turned into like unnecessarily putting my family at risk. And it's just
Right. Right.
you
Right.
have to be very careful with who you let into your home, who you let into your personal space. And I don't think I did anything wrong, but if I were to continue doing that without strong evidence that everything's okay, I would be doing something wrong. I would be putting
Right.
my wife at risk. I would be putting
Right.
myself at risk unless there were strong evidence to the contrary that, everything's okay. And here are the reasons why everything is okay. I don't know his last name, Christine. I know his first name, and that's it.
Hey, when you have kids, what's interesting is like you'll have kids, and then you'll have these other kids that your best friend will have kids, and you'll notice that one time your kids are playing, and your kid comes back and his fucking earlobe's torn and it's dangling, and then
Mhm.
another time, your kid gets pushed off a bike, and then after like 3 or 4 times, you're like, hey, am I gonna let my kid play with this other kid? Every time my kid plays with this other kid who's 2 years older, my kid's getting hurt, and you're, I that's the best way I could relate to it. You're like, "Wait a second. Um, this is not, this is not a good situation."
This is well, yeah. I mean, Taylor,
Um,
have you asked him about any of this?
are you talking about
Chris,
this right here?
yeah,
He
orange
he
juice.
knows that you have seen and heard the conflicts at his house. Why not clear the air and speak directly to him? Uh, that's
It's
kind
not
of
my
like
place.
not your business, yeah.
Yeah, it's not my fucking business at all. If cops show up at my house, I don't want every neighbor texting me asking me what's going on. It's none of my fucking business. If he wants to come over and work out again, he says, "Hey, when can we come back over and work out?" I'll be like, "Hey, I'd love to have you over. I got to be honest, I'm a little concerned about all the cop cars that showed up a few months ago. Like, what happens? Everything all right?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like at that
Yeah,
point, it's
yeah,
worth having a
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
But also, he's not in my house. That's the thing. We have not. He hasn't come over to work out in a few months. Um,
Mm.
so I'm not just continuing to have him over and fucking ignoring the issue and just completely acting like I have no idea what's going on. Uh, when Lizzie and I went to the hospital, we already hadn't worked out together in about a month, and the way it had kind of deteriorated, where there were a couple weeks where we had set a time for him to come over and work out. It would come that time, and then an hour would pass, and an hour would pass, and an hour would pass, and he still wouldn't show up, and that happened 4 or 5 times. And I stopped kind of rescheduling essentially. I stopped going out of my way to say, hey, if this time doesn't work, let's do it this time. So anyways, it's just a story in terms of a lesson that I've learned, and that is be very protective of your personal space. And once you have enough information that makes a decision, maybe not such a great decision, change or don't make the decision.
This is an article from USA Today, notorious for liberal slant. Sean J. Sullivan, is the writer. Uh, Minneapolis shooting video analysis details killing of Alex Preddy. And you look up the definition of killing, and killing, an act of cause of death, especially deliberately. So there's other ways you could have titled it. Man shot obstructing police. Um, uh, Police trying to the cops were there trying to arrest a man, an illegal alien, for domestic violence against his wife, and he had a warrant, I think, out for a Dewey, and protesters obstructed. A mob obstructed. organized mob obstructed. You organized mob obstructs arrest of domestic violence abuse man who beats woman and gets shot. There's a ton of different ways you could have titled it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just this killing. A U.S. citizen was shot and killed by Homeland Security agents in Minneapolis on Saturday, January 24th, the second fatal shooting by federal agents in Minneapolis, Minnesota this month. So that's the opening paragraph. Instead of police descend with warrant on on home for a warrant for an illegal alien with domestic violence charges and an outstanding driving under the influence.
And we know why this is the way the article is written.
And organized Soros protesters interfere and get shot, grab cops, interfere with cops. I mean, there's a ton of more honest ways to depict the context of what happened. I think it's more honest.
The job of the media today, the job that they have is getting viewership, and honesty is not what's doing it for them. They're the smallest cohort of Americans now are seeking out a logical, rational, objective take of current events. People right now want really fast validation for the emotions that they're currently feeling. So if you're on the left, you want really fast validation that this guy was murdered by ICE. If you're on the right, you want really fast validation that ICE justifiably or logically or rightfully shot this guy. And you're looking for one of those two things. That's where most of their views are going to come. And that's why they're writing like this. And they're playing into it, and they make it worse.
Alex Preddy, identified by Minneapolis senators as the third person shot by federal agents in the city in January and the second fatality. Preddy's death on Saturday, January 24th, follows the fatal shooting of Renee Good weeks earlier on January 7th by an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer. A third person was shot on January 14th but survived. So this is the exact same thing that we had with the stats of the 365 million stops a year cops make. I think it was 2022, 12 unarmed men were shot and killed by cops. No mention in any of those articles that all of those men resisted arrest, nor mention of the 22 white people killed by cops that year who were unarmed. You know what I mean? Just omitting facts and that would allow context and relativity to the situation.
It's data manipulation as well, because they give you the number of people killed. They don't give you the total number of stops. And if they gave you the percentage of people killed out of however many stops, it would be 0.000001. You know what I mean? It would be such a small number that no one would think twice about it. They'd be like, oh, wow, well, they're doing a great job. Perfection's impossible. But again, that's not what these people want. They're not looking for the people searching. And this is the real problem. It's not a real problem that there's a small cohort of people searching for the objective, rational, logical take. The real problem is we don't have people teaching the extreme sides or expressing to each extreme side what the objective, rational take is. Everybody with the loudest voice is only whipping each side up into more of a frenzy. And I would say if there is a side that is offering a more rational, logical take, it's 100% the right. And you can't even argue about that. No one on the right is saying, pick up your guns and fucking kill them and fight back. They're like, I can't count how many videos I've seen of guys that are like, hey, I really support ICE, but this was a bad shooting, objectively so. And here's why.
Just a few months ago, ICE went into a daycare facility, and the newspaper said ICE enters daycare facility and arrests woman. But if you went and read the whole article, they were chasing a car with an illegal alien in it who had a warrant out for his arrest. They went to the daycare facility and fled inside of it. That being omitted in all the articles. I mean, it's crazy. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said at a news conference that Preddy approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun without specifying whether Preddy was brandishing the weapon. Preddy, who authorities confirmed had a permit to carry a gun, is seen holding a phone and not wielding a weapon in videos recorded by a witness and bystanders. Footage circulating on social media since show the event from multiple angles. This is what we know so far. Now, they say all that. You could have mentioned that they were in the middle of an arrest and Preddy touched one of the cops. Could have easily fit in there.
Yeah.
Even important.
Hey, I think. Well, one, I want to talk about this. And I'm just gonna start. I want to talk about this and that. I'm gonna pull those up. Oh, and this. Yeah, they could have said that, and the reality is, of course, he didn't. Of course, he didn't need to be there. Of course, he didn't need to be armed, and of course, he should not have touched the officer.
The first two, though, I'm not passing judgment on. He can be wherever he wants, and he can arm himself whenever he wants. I'm not
Absolutely.
passing judgment on that.
But when everyone's illustrating the context of the situation, those two things are often brought up. One, you're putting yourself in the middle of a federal investigation or an operation, which is not, it's kind of stupid. And if you hadn't done that, you wouldn't be in this situation.
Let's not even say it's stupid. Let's say it comes with risks.
It increased the risk. Okay, absolutely.
Yeah,
so if you put yourself in the middle of a law enforcement operation, you're increasing the risk. If you do that and you arm yourself, you are then again increasing the risk. But the point is, in America, you should be able to do both things without being killed or without being shot.
Right. I don't think you should be allowed to touch cops, let alone touch cops while they're in the middle of a fucking hostile encounter.
No, you shouldn't be. But you also, that is also not grounds to be killed or shot.
Right.
That does not dictate the use of lethal force. And so that's the,
I agree.
This is what, yeah, I know you do. And this is the problem is the left can't acknowledge that
But that has to be said in the story.
Absolutely.
You can't tell that story without saying those things.
Fucking absolutely. And that's the problem with the media. There are two sides. It's he was armed and he was carrying 2 magazines and his gun had an optic. And he was at a protest. That's the right. And then the left is they murdered him pointlessly. Should have never been murdered. The reality is he was exercising his Second Amendment right, which he's fully within the law to do so. But being at the protest and arming himself increases his risk. The amount of magazines or the optic on his gun have nothing to fucking do with it. And that's retarded talk. And then on the other side, as soon as you touch an officer or get in the way, as soon as you're in the middle of the street filming, you've entered the conflict. Now you are a part of the conflict. And as soon as you touch the officer in any way, dude, you are under arrest. You fucking should be under arrest. And then to resist arrest, wow. I mean, of course, at each stage, it's like at each stage, if you've ever played a video game and you're a character and you have a life bar, and every time you get hit, the life bar comes down, down, down. Or it increases the red. Like, okay, he's there, red increases. He's armed, red increases. He starts filming and engaging, red increases. He touches the cop, red increases. It's off the screen now.
Yes.
And now he resists.
Yeah.
Of course he shouldn't have been killed, you guys, but
the options, the possibilities of getting killed once you resist skyrocket.
Absolutely. And the truth of the matter is, unfortunately, that guy has so much accountability in what happened, as do the agents, as do the guy that pulled the gun and negligently discharged the pistol, as does the guy pointing the gun at his back and shoots him after he hears the negligent discharge. There is so much accountability to go around. It's a horrible fucking situation. And the most, obviously the most tragic part is the result of this, right? This guy's dead. He's never going to see his family. His life is fucking gone. For what? For rapists, for illegal rapists from Laos. Really? That's why you fucking chose to die? And then here's the other reality.
Well, it's because he believes what the media is saying. He is there because he thinks the media is disappearing people.
Yep. And that is, herein lies
he thinks ICE is disappearing.
Right.
People.
The main fucking problem is Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, these politicians, the media, everyone are whipping people up into a frenzy, and ICE is operating in every fucking major US city, and it's not happening there. Didn't happen in Charlotte.
Yeah. Let me address this real quick. If ICE were in California, they would arrest you, Sevon. So this is why you're wrong. Okay, because I would be nowhere ICE is. But there were 3 times where I was almost arrested during COVID. I was at the beach and you weren't allowed to be at the beach and the cops had to come kick my family off. I was at the park and they had that yellow tape there and I cut the yellow tape so my kids could play on the playground. And I was at the skate park when the sign said, no kids were allowed in there unless they were wearing masks.
Wow.
And my kids and my family didn't wear masks. And so those times I did put myself and my family at risk by going against the law. But I don't go anywhere in my current life where there would be ICE. So they wouldn't arrest me. Can I read on?
Yeah, yeah.
Homeland Security Secretary Christian Holmes said at a news conference that Preddy was approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9 mil. Here we go. Footage circulating on social media since show the events from multiple angles. This is what we know so far. Here's the timeline. At 9:03 on January 2024, police received a report shooting involving federal law enforcement in the area of East 26th Street and Nicollet Avenue, said Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. At a news conference, O'Hara described police arriving to find a man with multiple gunshot wounds who was transported to a local hospital and pronounced dead. And none of the footage I saw did the police arrive, so I don't know when they arrived. Here's a second-by-second breakdown of one video seen below that was posted to social media. All times approximate. 10 seconds. Preddy can be seen holding up his phone, apparently filming an agent interacting with two men on the street. Doesn't say how close he is. Doesn't say whether he's talking to them or not. Preddy steps into the street to wave a car past while continuing to film. An agent is heard yelling at one of the women and approaches them. The video points towards the ground. At no point did it put in context why the agents were there. At no point, they could have easily said agents were at a home getting a guy who was an illegal alien with a warrant out for fucking beating his wife. The agent can be seen shoving a woman in another video. Doesn't mention what she did. Preddy can be seen apparently leading the woman away. The agent shoves the second woman who falls to the ground. Preddy steps between the agent and second woman on the ground. Doesn't mention that he touched the agent. He is sprayed with what appears to be a chemical irritant and is shoved by the first agent as other agents approach. The agent continues to spray Preddy with irritant. No mention of anything Preddy has done. There are at least 6 agents present as Preddy is held down on his hands and knees. At least one appears to beat him with an object. Someone can be hurt.
Arrest include, well, and this is where you plug in, as he resists arrest, as he struggles against officers, as he fails to comply, not even fails to comply, as he actively is out of compliance. I mean, just fucking avoiding compliance in every way.
One agent can be seen drawing his gun. A shot rings out, then 3 more in quick succession, then another. No mention that they see his gun and take his gun from him before they shoot. No mention that there appears in the video that he's grabbing for his gun at one point.
Oh, I didn't see that part of the video.
You haven't seen that footage? So now they're showing that after that first gunshot goes off, when the guy negligently discharges the gun into the ground, he jumps up and you see him reaching back with his hand. And they say that there's still a magazine back there, and he grabs the magazine, thinking it's the gun.
Can we pull that up?
Sure. The agent backed away and unloaded additional shots as Preddy at Preddy as he lies on the ground. No mention that he tried to jump up after the first gunshot. No mention, like you said, that he's not being compliant. No mention of any of that. No mention of anything that Preddy was doing in the detail necessary to show why the cops might not want him there. It's wild. It's wild how they present this. I'll bring up that picture somewhere else here in a second.
This is a video from the inside the car that they were right in front of. I haven't seen this angle yet.
Which one? This one? Which one? This one?
It's
Oh, this one down here?
No. Here, I'm gonna share it. This is crazy. I don't know what we're gonna see here, but this is from inside the car that they were all right in front of.
Oh, I haven't seen this one either.
Yeah, I know. They're spraying him. Or they're spraying a girl. I guess they're all on the ground right now. I don't know if we're gonna see anything worthwhile. Yeah, we don't see shit. Okay, that's fucking worthless. Yeah, show me what you had.
I saw video
Holy
analysis.
shit, my bad.
I saw video analysis of that, Sevan. I don't understand why these peacefully protesting people just stay out of the way, because they are being told that ICE is grabbing kids and adults and taking them out to the woods, stripping them naked and leaving them there, or disappearing them. They're being told that. They're being told that.
And if you're one of the people perpetuating those rumors without evidence, gosh, you are contributing to this in such an obscene way. The imagine thinking that because you voted for Trump, this is your fault. As you tell people that federal agents are murdering and kidnapping and breaking the law, where is the evidence? Where is the actual evidence of that? Show the receipts, show the fucking evidence. You have none. And you think Trump voters are the cause of this? Unbelievable.
We're going to be a little. Go ahead.
The mental gymnastics that you have to perform to think that and to rationalize that. Gosh, indoctrination at its finest.
We're going to be a little bit all over today, but I promise you we'll stay close to the subject and you guys will be able to piece a lot together. By the way, the story we told yesterday on the show that Taylor told of that gun going off and shooting that the guy set his gun on the table and it shot him in the chest. Someone contacted me and told me that story has been debunked and that he was actually killed by his buddy.
What? Who contacted you and told you that?
Military guy.
Because nowhere in the news has it been debunked.
Okay, we'll Google that in a second. I do want to show you this. I do want to show you, this is the gun that was pulled off of Preddy that the guy accidentally discharged. Here we go. This is the gun.
Put some input into the slide somewhere. Will it go off again? Will it release? Let's see.
So pause it.
Yeah,
so you see that screw right in front of the trigger?
Yeah.
Essentially, the reason that screw is there is to move the trigger back about 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters. Because this isn't happening without any depression of the trigger. Only is happening if you depress the trigger slightly and then the slide moves, then the gun will go off. So even if that officer drew Alex Preddy's gun from his holster and just had his finger resting against that trigger, and then the slide moved at all, boom, it goes off. And so that's potentially what we're talking about.
So 1 millimeter, just to put it in context, is 1/10 of an inch. And what Taylor's saying is if the trigger had 1/10 of an inch pull on it while the gun got squeezed like that or bumped, these guns are known to go off. I'll show you again.
Let me take the screw out.
This is all stuff that Taylor showed yesterday on the show.
Oh, wow, you're right.
Number 4.
Air Force thing.
Let's try it again. Let me show you. Fully functioning striker safety. All right. Should we do it with the magazine again? Let's put the magazine back in, and then we'll try the last one with the magazine out. Handy dandy.
Say that again.
He's fatter than shit.
Trigger input tool. We are going to try to. Dang, sorry about that. I'm trying to get over a sinus.
Yeah, you need to lose some weight.
That's okay. No problem. Do
You need
CrossFit.
to lose some weight.
We're going to try to simulate.
So he's putting the screw in where your finger would be on the trigger to move it. You guys can see the screw in there. That's to simulate the trigger being pulled 1/10 of an inch.
Again, we are roughly, as we saw on the tabletop, I'm guessing we're roughly 1 millimeter to less than 1 millimeter of engagement on that trigger. And let's see if we can get it to go off again.
4 of 4. 4 out of 4 tests result in that.
That's wild.
And that bullet's not a live round. It just has the primer in it. It doesn't have any gunpowder or a bullet.
I was wondering.
But it's just to show. So there's a charge in the primer. So when the firing pin strikes the little piece on the back of the casing, it ignites the primer, and that primer then ignites the gunpowder explodes, the bullet shoots through the bullet. So it doesn't have through the barrel. So it doesn't have a bullet or the gunpowder in it. But yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Stabilized video of the shooting of Alex Preddy appears to confirm that while what's CBP?
It's Border Patrol. I don't know what the first
may have disarmed him. He still reaches for his holster area and pulls out what appears to be a secondary magazine he had brought with him. Okay, so what happens is they disarm him. The guy who pulls the gun out from behind his back, from the bad guy Preddy's back, as he walks away, he accidentally fires the gun. That's what we showed you might have happened.
Okay.
And then Preddy jumps up after he hears the gunshot. And I think I think everyone jumps up. He jumps off, and the agents who are putting pressure on him jump up because people hear a gunshot and everyone panics and jumps.
So this is where he jumps up.
The shot goes off.
Okay.
Preddy jumps up, and see how he reaches back with his right hand?
Okay, go back forward.
There's his arm coming forward because we're going in reverse.
Go back. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to zoom in on this.
The gun goes off.
All right. Let's hear it. Let's just play it. Can you slow it down? No. Yeah, that's right. Oh man. But go back again. Let's watch it again. Don't even talk. Just go back and let's watch it like 5 times. Oh, he even looked down. He even looked back at where he was reaching. What's in his hand?
Oh, that is the magazine. He pulls the magazine. Holy shit. Holy. Well, he pulls something. He pulls something out from back there where his gun and the 2 magazines were. Look at his hand. It's open.
Go back again one more time. Go just all the way back. Wow.
Now watch as his hand comes forward. He's got something in his hand.
Could that be his phone?
Could be.
So it could be his phone. But let's hold on. One more time. Just play it back from the beginning and let's watch the video all the way through. Okay.
Oh, his phone's in his left hand. His phone's in his left hand.
Yeah,
his phone's in his left hand.
Also, just watch his face too. Watch him look back for what he's reaching for. He looks back. He looks back. Right there.
No, do I think any of this matters? No. Honestly, from my perspective, it's the same thing as trying to justify the shooting of Renee Good only after we find out the cop was hit. I don't think that that's needed.
Let me pee. I gotta pee and think about this.
I don't think that that's needed. I don't think that that's needed. I don't think that that's needed. I think that the second you obstruct an arrest, the door's open. I want to show you another take. Fortunately, I'm probably going to have to go over this a few times when Taylor comes back. I want to show you this post here on Twitter. It says, the truth of the matter is Alex was murdered because an untrained agent mishandled Alex's firearm after disarming him. So that's when you blame things, you have to pick an origin in the timeline, a spot in the timeline, a demarcation line where you're going to start blaming, right? So it would be ridiculous if I blamed Alex Preddy's parents for this. It would be ridiculous if I told you this is all Alex Preddy's parents' fault because if they wouldn't have fucked on that one night and had him, none of this would have happened. That would be absurd, right? So this guy, so you have to choose a spot in the timeline that you want to start handing out the blame. This guy is choosing the point at which the officer discharged the gun. Look at the truth of the matter is Alex was murdered because an untrained agent mishandled Alex's firearm. So that's the point where this guy is going to start choosing blame. That's completely subjective. And I get it. He has to choose a spot. He caused a negligent discharge of the firearm in the street while trying to remove it from the scene and secure it. The other agents, who probably had no clue what just happened because of the clear lack of communication, and right there, he's showing another bias. There's no time to communicate. There's no time to communicate. If it was a negligent discharge, a lack of communication has nothing to do with anything, but that's okay. Then murdered Alex in fear that he was somehow armed and trying to shoot him. Not somehow armed. We know he had at least one gun already.
Somehow armed.
And this guy is saying he's not biased. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you stand, left or right. What matters is the man was murdered because of a lack of training and deadly assumption made by those agents on the scene, and they should be held accountable. So here's the point. Here's my contention, just logically thinking. Was Alex Preddy doing something wrong being there? No, it's his right to be there. Was Alex Preddy doing something wrong by having a gun? No. Completely okay. Completely okay. So when are we going to choose the timeline to start? He's saying a negligent discharge. I'd like to take it back a little bit further to when he first broke the law, because we know he didn't break the law by showing up there. That's his right. We know he didn't break the law by having a gun. That's his right. Did he break the law by obstructing an arrest? Yes. Why don't we use that to choose when the timeline starts? If you're going to give blame, I'm just using this guy. This guy wants to find blame. And he wants to blame the guy who negligently discharged the firearm. Why don't we just use the point of when he first broke the law?
The other,
by the way, who uses OMG? What are you, a fucking 8-year-old girl?
fucking pussy. Look at this too. Carl, would you shut the fuck up? How can you be on the 7 ICE officer's side? I'm on no one's side. They were not in danger. Did you just watch the slow motion video? Do you know what the word danger means?
They were surrounded by protesters while they were doing their job.
The guy had a firearm, a gun went off, and he reached back to the holster where his gun was. I'm sorry, dude. I'm completely fucking sorry, but every fucking retard, me included, trying to draw a conclusion before seeing every bit of evidence, and that video in slow-mo is fucking crazy. The one we just played for 4 minutes, where it shows the gun go off, him come up to his knees, look back, and reach to where his gun was. If you're an officer and a guy is reaching for their fucking gun, you shoot them. So yeah, hey, all of this could have been avoided. Absolutely. Could have been avoided with better training. Could have been avoided with better communication. Could have been avoided with de-escalation. Could have been avoided by Alex Preddy not showing up. Could have been avoided by Alex Preddy not showing up armed. Could have been avoided by Alex Preddy not touching an officer.
But to choose the point of the discharge to start handing out blame and not acknowledge that's the timeline where you're choosing. I mean, we can choose all sorts of things. We can choose that if it was a snowy day, it wouldn't have happened. I mean, if you're surrounded by 7 armed men, and you draw, and they have their fucking guns, and they have legal authority over you,
Fuck that. Even who cares? Because that even Democrats want to debate that. They don't have legal authority. They're kidnapping people from the streets. Okay, let's say they don't have legal authority. If you're surrounded by 7 cartel gangbangers and they have their fucking gun drawn on you and you reach for your gun, you've just committed suicide. You know what they call that? They call that suicide by fucking cop. It's a thing that people actually do. 7 guys are pointing their fucking guns at him and he reaches for his fucking gun. He doesn't know his gun's gone. He has no fucking idea. He's just being bent on his hands and knees. Resisting.
Resisting with a gun is grounds for shooting someone, by the way.
Wow.
He did break the law by having the gun without his carry permit on his person. I don't know if that's true. Do you have to have your permit on you?
Yeah, you 100% have to have your permit on you, and I'm not sure if oh yeah, the solution is no guns allowed. Go back to wherever the fuck you're from, Carl. And if it's America, get deported. I don't know. That's crazy, dude. Go back to where there's no guns allowed? No guns allowed? No guns allowed, dude? Go to Chicago. No guns allowed in Chicago. Go to Philly. No guns allowed in Philly. Go to fucking Southeast DC. No fucking guns allowed in Southeast DC.
Go to
you fucking
Australia.
retard.
Go to Australia.
Yeah, go to Australia and be a Jew. Be a Jew at the fucking beach. No fucking guns allowed when you're a Jew at the beach in Australia. That's retard talk.
He had no ID and no carry permit with him. Wow.
If you're carrying a fucking gun and you don't have your ID on you, you are fully aware that you are breaking the law. They fucking drill that into you. They drill that into you that is so fucking needed. And you're in big fucking trouble if you don't have it.
Let's understand even further where the left is coming from. This is Bavino being interviewed on CNN yesterday.
Oh, you're so glad you live in Europe, Carl Feldmer. You're so glad you live in Europe.
Where do you live, Carl? Which country do you live in? Which country do you live in?
Hope you don't have daughters, dude. A fucking inbred packy rape gang's gonna fucking destroy your family. This guy's crazy. We're glad you live in Europe too. Trust me.
Carl, we just had someone on the show who had to leave Barcelona because it's getting so bad there.
Holy shit. You better watch your comments, Carl. You might get arrested. You better watch your comments. I'm gonna follow your Starmer.
That's true, Carl. I don't know if you're allowed to be commenting on YouTube freely. Okay, here we go. This is Bavino on CNN. Listen to this crazy talk.
To us from every angle, sir, that he was approached by them when he was helping another individual who was pushed down.
She just characterized it that ICE approached him when he was helping someone. Now, what I see is him, that is true without the context of he didn't just approach someone, he was interfering in police activity. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You're comparing this to the fucking Nazi regime, Carl? Are you retarded?
Wow.
Hey, in what world did the Jews chase the fucking SS Gestapo around with guns? Where did that happen in Germany? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I only read a few history books, but nowhere were we taught that Jews followed the SS around with whistles, armed, and tried to fucking resist against them, you fucking idiot. Are you absolutely retarded? There are no concentration camps. There are no people being rounded up by the fucking ethnic majority and fucking sent to concentration camps to create things for free for us and so that we can fucking burn them in an oven. That's not happening here.
But here's what Carl is believing the left media that ICE is going around and profiling people. That's the thing. He thinks that. That's the story they're hearing. They're hearing that ICE is going around and picking anyone who's black or brown. Hey, ask anyone. No one who's black is tripping on this.
Also, Carl, this is why this comment right here, this comment that you've just made and this ideology that you're fucking falling for head over heels, this is why you can't start your car in the winter to warm it up before you get in the fucking car. That's why it's illegal now for you to fucking start your car and warm it up when you're not in it in Germany. That's why the government has fucking kill switches to your remote start vehicles. This is why, gosh, dude, you are so brain dead. Absolutely brain dead. Unbelievable.
It's wild, right? But you can't blame him. That's what he's hearing. That's what he thinks.
Have you seen Inglourious Bastards? That was the U.S. military, you fucking retard. Are you stupid? Hey, I don't see any Minnesota National Guardsmen chasing these guys around with fucking guns and baseball bats. You are so fucking stupid. Also, a dramatized movie. Oh, and Bavino looked like a stereotypical Nazi. Gosh, you know what a stereotypical Nazi is?
Who wrote that? Who wrote that?
Carl Feldmer. You know what a stereotypical Nazi is? It's a leftist. It's a socialist. Do you know what the National Socialist Party was? The Nazi Party. Okay, do you know who everyone
That's
on the
what
left...
they shortened it and called it Nazi because it was National Socialist Party, Carl. That's how the word Nazi came, to shorten so they didn't have to say National Socialist.
Imagine being so stupid. Carl, Jews in fucking Germany never voted for themselves and their Jew friends to be fucking killed by the millions. Latinos and blacks and fucking Arabs and fucking Asians across the United States who are here legally and who follow the fucking rules and who would like some modicum of law and order voted for illegal criminals, not just violent offenders, but people who broke the law simply by entering illegally and staying when they've been told to leave. They voted for them to be deported. Are you absolutely stupid? You
Carl,
have
it's
to
not
be-
too late. It's not too late to wake up to, buddy. And your country needs a lot of help, man. You guys are in serious trouble.
Imagine thinking, hey, Dan, I don't have a credit card because I'm not fucking retarded like you. Shut the fuck up. This is
Okay.
crazy.
Let me play more of this. This is so she already is saying that they approached him. That's a pretty wild characterization. That's what Carl believes. They approached him.
And that's the problem. We can't even agree on reality.
Yeah.
The reality is he was engaged. He entered the conflict when he pulled his phone out and chose to film and approached the officers. He also chose to fucking be a part of the conflict when he put his hand on an officer.
Okay, here we go.
What evidence do you have that he was assaulting any law enforcement?
Dana, we don't need a suspect's help in an active law enforcement scene.
When you say
No, this guy's a suspect, and he was actively interfering, and she refuses to acknowledge that.
Hey,
We don't need
suspect.
his
What
help.
is
We
he
didn't ask
suspected
his
of?
help. That's an active law enforcement scene. He knew that was an active law enforcement scene, especially when the officers approached him, and it's very evident he did not need to be where he was.
He was there because it was an active law enforcement scene. These people are going out of their way to go to active law enforcement scenes.
When somebody is pushed down and a person's instinct is to help that person, when somebody's pushed down by law enforcement, you're saying that you just stand back and let law enforcement do what they're doing?
No, you do what most normal people do. You help the cops or you stay away. How many times have you seen where cops are struggling with someone and someone comes in to help the cops?
You know, Dana, every situation is different. What our officers are faced with here in Minneapolis are chaotic, very difficult and violent situations in which individuals, and this suspect is not the only one to bring a loaded weapon to a riot. The situations are chaotic and ever changing. Follow directions for law enforcement. Don't inject yourself knowingly beforehand into a law enforcement situation.
With respect, it feels as though in some ways you're blaming the victim here.
The victims are the Border Patrol agents. I'm not blaming the Border Patrol agents. The victim are the Border Patrol agents. The suspect put himself in that situation. The victims are the Border Patrol agents.
So here's the Dems. Here's the Dems. She thinks that guy's the victim because he was shot. So imagine you're walking down the street and someone tries to rob you and you beat the shit out of them and kick their fucking ass. Who's the victim?
The guy who tried to rob you, Savon.
Yeah. The Dems don't care. All they care about is they want to side on whoever the fuck lost. That's how they determine whose side they're going to jump on. Whoever lost, that's the side they're going to jump on. They don't care about fucking logic or reasoning. There's not one story covering whether they fucking actually apprehended the guy who was the domestic violence, who was beating his wife, who's ICE was there to grab. You can't find anything about that.
Because that wouldn't whip the public up into a frenzy. There is no rational thought ever.
Yeah, David nailed it. Carl is the victim.
Yeah,
Carl is like empathizing with the victim. Someone beat him when he was a kid, or he got hurt, and so they're using no logic. It's just all which person do I identify with?
Well, you hear that all.
Beat up.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it at every protest. We are Nicole Good. We are Alex Preddy. We are George Floyd. Until you break the law, no, you aren't. You aren't. And look, it's just absolutely unbelievable. All of these positions, they lack a fundamental position of rational logic to stand on. Every single one of these leftist liberal positions lack a fundamental logical foundation on which they can stand. Imagine thinking that guns are the problem. Imagine thinking that. So listen, we're talking about our Second Amendment freedoms, right? And if we didn't have them, if we didn't have guns, this never would have happened. Well, this guy was breaking the law. He was carrying his gun illegally. If he did not have ID and if he did not have a wallet, and that is confirmed, he was breaking the law. When you have a firearm and you are actively engaging in criminal activity and breaking the law, chances are you're also not going to follow the law that says you're not allowed to have a firearm. Very strong chances. So when you make it law that you cannot have guns, and the people that have guns that are using them to break the law, what makes you think that now they're simply going to start following the law that says don't have a gun? There are fucking maybe how many guns per capita in the United States? I mean, I want to say the numbers like fucking 5 to 9 firearms per person in the United States. Now, let's just follow this through. Let's say let's say everybody changes their mind and we decide, hey, it's not okay for us to have guns. All of the law-abiding citizens who are not going to carry a gun illegally at a protest and try to pull it on 7 Border Patrol agents, all those people who aren't going to do that decide to turn their firearms in. Okay, now it's 1 gun per 300 million people in the United States, or 350 million. So we have 350 million guns still in the streets. And now every single person who's a criminal and would not have followed that law to begin with, they're not going to turn their guns in all of a sudden, because how can they break the law possibly?
Gun violence went up 40% the year after the UK disarmed their citizens. Gun violence went up 40%.
And now the government has full control over you. So that's the logic of people like Carl.
And Carl, just so you know, it's some ridiculous number. Clearly over 50% of all of our gun violence, I think it's like 75%, happens in 6 metropolitan areas in the United States.
By people who aren't following gun laws and who shouldn't legally have them to begin with.
Yeah.
So what do more, is it guns? Hey, we don't have a fucking knife stabbing pandemic in the United States. You do in Europe. Knives are fucking all over the streets. People getting stabbed everywhere in Europe.
Hey,
we don't have
bombs aren't legal in Sweden, and they have the largest bombing per days of the year than any other non-warring country in the world. And bombs aren't legal there.
You know what else is free? You know it's free in America, Carl? Somali childcare is free. I mean, we're an amazing country. We're subsidizing every other country on earth. We're subsidizing, as Americans, every other country on earth. And you think that you have it good because you have free healthcare and free education in Germany? Nothing is free, dude. There's just no logic. It is absolutely unbelievable. No logic.
Okay, I want to play a little bit more of this interview. Here we go.
There.
I just want to also go back to what I was asking about with regard to what Secretary Noem said, that he was brandishing a gun.
Now she cares about words. Brandishing means waving the gun. He clearly wasn't waving the gun or using it like that. Now she cares about words. Isn't it fascinating? So that lets us know that the left does know how to do that, but for some reason they refuse to do it about abortion. They refuse to do it about men and women. They have these whole group of subjects that they refuse to acknowledge that words have definitions until it suits them. It's fascinating.
At any point, do you have any evidence that, yes, he had a gun on his person? Was he brandishing it?
We heard the law enforcement officer say gun, gun, gun. So at some point, they knew there was a gun. So again, that is going to be part of that.
Hey, look at, so they've sprayed in that video you saw, he gets sprayed and he goes and grabs the woman. You know what that reminds me of is, you know, when someone's drowning, they'll just start grabbing other people. Why is he grabbing that woman after he gets sprayed? He drags her back into the violent area. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He grabs her and pulls her back into the fucking melee.
No actions that he has taken, throughout this entire encounter resemble anyone who would be acting logically and rationally. They're like thinking and acting like that. None of these actions represent logical or rational thought at any point. At any point, his risk assessment is massively flawed. Clearly he has zero impulse control. I mean, there's just this is textbook someone who is acting mentally deranged. Carl, I hope America shorts your fucking German car production in the United States. Because if we stop selling Mercedes and BMW and fucking Audi here, you'd fucking die. Your country would shrivel up like a fucking cut off piece of foreskin, dude. If we stop selling Volkswagen in the United States, we subsidize everything you do. Every fucking bite of food you take. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And Carl, the only two things a civilization needs to be successful and flourish is energy and food. And I think you should really be concerned about both of those if you're worried about anything. Germany, recently, your prime minister, your president said we really fucked up not pursuing nuclear. You guys are in a world of hurt. You're fucking stuck on the Russian tit buying oil. You guys are in big trouble. Stevan, many blacks and Latinos are tripping about this. Both sides say the same thing. They believe this because they're being told on X. How do you know your information is correct? I don't. You're absolutely right. I don't.
But
that's why we tried to go
with our eyes. Can we go back and play the video for Candace? Candace, watch the video. I honestly think we should go back and watch that because let's trust our eyes.
Perspectives are inherently biased by beliefs. I totally agree. It's why things like this suck. As objective as you try to be, it's near impossible. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. I wholeheartedly agree. I'm trying to understand it. But I do know the parts that they're leaving out. I do know that in my lifetime at 53 years old, it was always if the cops were going to get a pedophile out of his house and someone attacked the cops while they were doing it, they would be the bad guys. That's my bias. I totally get that's my bias. And the fact that all the stories we've pursued on this channel where they say the cops were disappearing people, we've ended up them not being true. And worse yet, they've been manipulated into seeming like they're true. Like the video we broke down the other day where the guy said the cops grabbed him and he was a U.S. citizen. Taylor and I were totally like, man, that's fucked. And we were ready to blast the cops until we find out he was pretending to be an illegal. Carl, how can you say stuff like that, Stevan? You have no idea of the German economy. How can you say stuff like that, Carl, when you have no idea what I know about the German economy? I mean, what is this?
Well, we know that we far outpace Germany in production of food and energy. We're the second most energy and food commodity producing country in the world. Only behind China in energy supply, and I believe we outpace China in food supply. And now that we control Venezuela, those stats are from 2023. Now that we own all of Venezuela's oil, essentially, I would wager that we are far and beyond China now in energy supply.
Domestic terrorists in Minneapolis compiled 5,000 ICE license plates, but couldn't find a single fraudulent Somali daycare. I mean, these are the things that when you hear them in context, you're just like, wow, this is absolutely what, I mean, it's evidence that we're dealing with a scam. Caller, hi. Caller. Hello?
Hey, Sevi, it's Joe.
Hey.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in on the pepper spray thing.
Please.
Taylor was saying like, oh, that's not someone who is trying to do an assessment. I can tell you if it's your first time being CS gassed or pepper sprayed, you're going to behave exactly like that. They were standing on ice and snow, so he was slipping around and grabbing, flailing.
Like a drowning victim. So that was a good metaphor, right, Joe?
Right.
Like a drowning victim. When you drown, you'll grab a little kid and hold a little kid under to save your own life.
Well, he can't see, so like he's just grabbing out while he's losing his balance.
Assessment.
Like
great assessment.
But like that's why in the military
that doesn't justify it though. That doesn't justify it though. That's just an explanation.
No, of course. I'm just saying that like that's why we have to get gassed and sprayed in the military so we know how to react, because you have to experience it first to know how to handle it. So this guy's a nurse. He probably never been pepper sprayed before. But yeah, that was just my assessment on that.
Hey, what did you just? I know you're up to speed on a lot of things. Did he have his permit and his ID on him? Did you hear anything about that?
I haven't found that out yet. I've just been told that he was a legal gun owner. That's the only thing I could find out. But none of that matters because the shooting happened before any of that can be confirmed.
You're saying they didn't have a discourse with him being like, hey, you have a gun, can we see your permit? And so therefore it's irrelevant.
Well, if you look at the video, he's standing in the street and then they start approaching him. He backs off to the side and then they spray him in the eyes. And then like
That's
7
not-
guys
wait,
try to
wait,
take him down.
Wait, that's not what I see. They're approaching the ladies and he gets between the ladies and the cops. They didn't approach him. He entered the scene of the aggravation.
Okay, I must have seen a different clip of him in the street at some point, but no, it doesn't look like at any point did they interview him. Like they tackled him to the ground. 7 guys started pummeling him, and then it was like they just started shooting him. So
No,
it
Joe.
You gotta watch-
matter if he
Whoa,
was.
Joe, that's not what happened.
Did you watch Did you watch the early video we showed on the show, Joe?
No, I just joined in. I've been seeing what everyone's
Pull it
been
up,
posting on
Sevon.
Twitter,
Pull it
though.
up so we can watch this live with Joe on the show. This is a perfect. Hey, I thought the same thing that you did, Joe, for the past 2 days, and me and Sevon went to war about it, and I hadn't seen this video that he just showed, and it's slow-mo, and so I just want you to watch it, and I'm actually gonna step out of the position I was just in, which was an agreement with Sevon. I'm gonna go objective again as we watch this video, and I want to hear your take.
I don't have it anymore.
Okay.
I closed that window and I don't have the link.
Dude, don't do that. How do I find it? What's it called?
Let's see.
Is it on X?
Slow-mo grab. The one where he goes and grabs his magazine.
Yeah.
Slow-mo grab magazine Preddy. You know what's crazy is Google still won't let you type in Preddy. It keeps putting a Y in there, even in the searches. X. Once you start breaking down the video in slow motion, Joe, do you know about the gun that discharged?
Yeah, the P320 that has a history of accidental discharges.
Yeah. So as the gun discharged, all the cops jump up and Preddy jumps up. And as Preddy jumps up, he reaches and grabs where his gun was. Instead of grabbing his gun, he grabs a magazine.
Here, I can pull it up just by going back on our stream. I'm going to mute it and share the screen.
But the slow-mo showing the guy walking away with the gun and the receiver sliding has been debunked because they're saying his wrist, nothing else moves along with that, what looks like a distortion of the receiver.
So you don't think that gun discharged?
I don't know. I'm just saying that whatever I saw going around showing it looking like a pixelation of the slide moving, nothing else resembles a gun being fired in that arm or hand.
Like
now,
there's no kickback or anything.
Well, let's
yeah,
show,
like you would see the whole hand would move because he's not expecting it to go off. So it's gonna twitch or something, but it doesn't move at all.
Can you see this video on the screen?
Show me what site it's on. I'll pull up the original. Go up to the top and I'll search that.
Yeah, I can see it.
Right Angle News on X.
Okay.
Do you want me to wait or do you want to go find it?
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. All right. So at this point, this is where the guy in the gray jacket is pulling the gun from Alex Preddy and then walking away. Let's see. Here we go. We start to go in a second. We're still paused. I don't know. It might be better if you find it, Sevon, and just pull it up because we rewind so many times here.
There's so many right angle news networks.
Okay, so hold on. Here we are, Joe. So look, at this point, this guy with the beanie and the green jacket, he's the guy that shoots him. The gray guy has just drawn the gun and is running away. And when you play the video with audio, it's at this point right here that we hear a gunshot go off. We still can't tell if it's this guy in the black beanie and the green shirt who shoots first because we're blocked by this guy kneeling on the ground. But what we do see now is he gets on his knees and look his head looking back towards his hip. He's reaching for his hip, and you'll watch it clearer. Reaching for his hip, reaching for his hip. That's when he shoots the first shot that we think, or this is the second shot that's been fired right there. So that's the second shot that's fired. We don't know if the first one was him or a negligent discharge. We're unsure, but that's when the second shot goes off. It goes off after he comes to his knees and reaches back and starts to rise. Then they shoot him again.
But he was holding his phone in his hand, wasn't
On
he?
his other hand.
In
So
his
look,
other
you
hand,
see
he's
his
holding
right
his
hand.
phone.
Look at his right hand that's being grabbed by this guy on his knees. You can see he's got his, see that in his hand, in his right hand?
That's his left hand.
Well, if you're him, that's his left hand. But to us, looking at him right now, you see the hand on his right from us watching. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay,
But
now
But
watch
the,
his
but the
other
image
hand.
with the circle around him is his right hand. So
That's his other
that was
hand.
the hand he had the phone in.
No, his left hand has the phone. You can see him holding the phone in his left hand, or he's holding something in his left hand. His
See
right
that?
hand
His
is
left
empty,
hand.
and then he reaches back and pulls something out. I don't think this is even relevant, but it's right there.
That's what they think is the magazine as he reached back. That's exactly where the holster was as well for both.
And he
the
hasn't
gun.
been shot yet. He hasn't been shot yet, and he jumped up. He's resisting arrest.
He jumps up right now,
He
reaches back.
Everyone
That's
jumps
when he
up for
shot.
some reason.
That's when he shot. Oh, are you showing it too, Sevon?
Yeah, I mean, like outside looking in, my best guess when I first saw the commotion was that someone said he had a gun and it was confused with he has a gun, and very poorly trained officers just started firing indiscriminately because everything is going crazy and it's chaos. And I've been in similar situations, so I understand how stuff can go south real quick because everyone's fearing for their lives. So like, yeah, it could have been an ND that went off and someone thought he was shooting, but like,
Well, if it was,
nobody should be trained to just like unload into somebody because they heard a gunshot,
if
or
it
because
was,
like there's plenty of opportunity there to slow it down. But of course,
right. Well, the
you're in
opportunity is
situation, shit happens.
the opportunity to slow it down is far before this point. But can we not agree that if you are this guy holding the gun, this guy in the green and the ski mask, and let's say that what we think to be true is true, and then we'll play out the other side. Let's say that the guy in the gray who disarmed Preddy, as he steps away, the gun negligently discharges. And at that point, Alex Preddy hears a gun go off and he's rising to his knees and he reaches back to his holster. And the guy in the green and the ski mask doesn't know that the gray guy has disarmed him, or he doesn't know how many firearms are on him. So at this point, Alex Preddy reaches back to grab something from his holster, and you're the guy in the green. At that point, let's not even say let's not say should he have done it or should he not have done it. Legally, in a court of law, do you think that officer who shot him has grounds to fear for his life and act in self-defense?
And we've already established that he's not afraid of police because he interferes with police, an arrest that's going on. Obstruction. He's already obstructing police.
When you touch an
duties
officer, and it's not a handshake, and the officer is trying to detain you, and you touch an officer, in basically every court, you'll be charged by every prosecutor. You'll be charged with assault on a police officer. So legally, he's already committed.
Of course.
So he's committed assault on a police officer. He's then resisted arrest. Now he's reaching back toward his holster after everyone hears a gun go off. In a court of law, and that's all we can go by as Americans. We have the best judicial system in any country in the world. In a court of law, will this officer get off or will they find that he had reasonable suspicions as to fear for his life? He had reasonable fear for his life to act in self-defense. I mean, would you agree or disagree?
This is the same city where the fucking coroner told us that George Floyd had a heart attack and they fucking sent a cop away to jail for 22 years for killing him.
That doesn't matter here, Sevon.
I know.
just
I'm
asking
just telling you.
Joe,
I'm just telling
based
you.
on this video, if he's reaching for his gun, if he's rising to his knees, and if the other guy ND'd behind them, and then he reaches for his gun, with all the previous context, he assaulted a police officer and now he's resisting this entire time. Is this guy in fear for his life to do what he just did? Just that one shot. Let's just go with that one shot.
I think a jury is going to have a lot of trouble thinking, because they're going to look at this and they're going to be like, how many officers were on top of him? Then they all got off of him and let him rise up.
They got off of him because they heard a
At what
gunshot.
point? But when do you just all get off of the guy you're trying to subdue? Like,
When you hear a gunshot,
I've
you're like,
never
holy
been
shit,
told
get away.
everybody rises like you.
So
You know
your
what I
line of
mean?
thinking,
Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
well, your line of thinking is saying, oh, they all decided in a split second to get off of him to conspire to kill him now. I mean, what's more realistic? You all rise and try to get away because you hear a gunshot?
No, not to conspire.
Well,
Not to conspire. I'm just saying that they let him get into a threatening posture by getting off of him. If you're saying he shot him because it looked like he was getting up and grabbing his gun.
Being undertrained isn't the subject matter at hand. People are saying they murdered him. We're saying at best, these guys acted in self-defense after watching this because he's going for a gun and is resisting the whole time. At worst, they all acted negligently because they weren't trained well and they overreacted.
Well, of course. I'm not in the they wanted to murder him. I believe they were trying to do what they were trying to do, but unfortunately, they suck. They suck at their job. Like,
They don't.
This is the same kind of video that you showed.
I don't.
Women cops, they couldn't subdue one guy. This is the exact same analysis on this guy. Like, if you have trouble with the female cops that can't take down one person, like, this is the exact same situation. You have 7.
I think any cop. I think any cop. I bet we could ask any cop, Joe, that if they're trying to detain a suspect and they hear gun, 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 they're probably backing off, or even they see that he is armed. Mind you, he doesn't, from what we've heard, he doesn't have any identification on him or his concealed carry permit, which he does have, but he doesn't have it on him. And you hear gun, 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 he's resisting.
How do you know they even checked that? How do you know that they even knew that?
Well, that's what they're saying.
They didn't know that. They didn't know that until afterwards.
But those agents didn't know that until after he was dead.
They also didn't know that he was. They also didn't know that he was disarmed from the guy in the gray. So if there's anything that's gone wrong, it's the guy in the gray disarmed him without telling everyone, and he negligently.
But being armed is not a free pass to shoot someone.
Joe, he's resisting, and he rises to his knees and he reaches for his gun or his magazine. That's not a point at which.
How is he resisting when they get off of him? They let him go and he gets up.
No, before that, he's resisting. At this point? They're in the middle of arresting someone for beating their wife. These 3 protesters that we can see in the shot interfere with the police arrest. This guy touches the police. He not only arrests with the arrest of the guy who was beating his wife, but he interferes with the arrest of the 2 women who are harassing the cops. They get into a tussle. They try to restrain him. He's fighting. He's fighting. He's fighting.
Imagine, he assaulted a police officer legally while armed illegally. I'm not blaming
Do we know that the pistol was concealed, or is it open carry?
It was concealed by his jacket. And I would wager to say in Minneapolis is probably not an open carry city, but I'll find out right now.
And hey, we don't know if that's his cell phone in his hand, and we don't know if that's his magazine he grabbed. We're just
open carry is legal when you have a permit to carry. So he had a permit, but not on him.
I don't even know if that.
I don't even know on you.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that's true. That's just what I'm reading in the comments, Joe. I don't even know if that's true, but I'm just.
The only exceptions are inside your own home, place of business, or on land that you own, where you don't need your permit.
Mike
Gotcha.
Sandone, they created distance from the subject to protect themselves. I mean, they heard a shot. Allow them to draw their weapons safely.
He's also rising. He's been told to get on the ground, stop resisting. And let's pretend that he hasn't. You have 7 federal agents trying to subdue you, and you're resisting at every single point. You hear a gun go off. You create separation between you and the suspect as he's reaching for the exact position where his firearm was previously. I'm just saying that this is not as like, how does this happen and how is this okay, as everyone initially thought that it was. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Do I
of
think they
course.
should have
Of
backed off?
course.
I
Yeah.
think they should have backed off and shot him 10 more times. I still don't think so. But also, if he was reaching for his I didn't know this until this morning. That looks an awful lot like he's reaching. And when I say an awful lot, I mean, if I had to assign a percentage to what he was doing at that point in time, 90% likelihood to me, he's reaching for his holster and gun and magazine or whatever he had concealed back there. At that point, I get out of it because I'm not an expert. He looked like he was reaching for his gun. Nothing beyond that point I can have an opinion on as being wrong, because it looked like he's reaching for a fucking gun.
Right.
Hey,
I just know that, like,
go ahead,
yeah,
Joe. Sorry,
go
no,
ahead.
you go ahead. You just know what.
No, I was just saying that, like, totally agree. Like, many things happened to get to this point that we shouldn't have been in, but also, like, routine traffic stop, reaching for your license and registration, and then they just shoot him. Like, there has to be some level of, it's just another example of how these guys are not trained very well. They're being put in these positions that are shitty, and they're doing the best they can, which is not good enough, right? Like, it's unfortunate, and I just don't think that all the officers getting off of the guy and him raising to his knees is, if you've been pepper sprayed in the face and 7 guys are on top of you, you're not seeing, you don't know what's going on. Your natural instinct is, when you have a chance to get up, you're going to start getting up.
But if
Right?
you're
trying to
going
get your
to
bearings
use
the whole time.
if you're going to use that logic, then you have to. The logic is also the same with the cops.
And also, it's also the
Of course.
same, Joe,
Yeah.
with he's rising to his knees, but he's also reaching for his gun.
Hey, Joe, let me ask you
Now,
this.
in what
Zoom out.
world, rationally, Joe, do you have 7 armed people on your back pointing guns at you? Do you think it's okay for you to then reach for your gun? And if you do that, in my opinion, you're committing suicide. It doesn't matter who the 7 armed guys are. Let's say they're completely unjustifiably trying to detain him. They're not federal agents. Let's say they're cartel gangbangers, and they're telling me to stay on the fucking ground, put my hands behind my back. I hear a gunshot go off. They all back off of me. But to my knowledge, they're still all armed and pointing a gun at me. If I reach for my gun, they're going to kill me. Anyone, and if you're opposing anyone with a gun and you reach for your gun, you've just entered the gunfight, and it's become a gunfight now. And I am
But the
agreeing. I
gun
don't
was
think
gone.
he didn't know that. He was reaching for it. How did he know that? He was pepper sprayed. He had 7 guys pummeling all on his back. How does he know his gun's gone?
Hey, I got a question for you here real quick. Joe,
Yeah.
I'm curious your perspective. Where's all the black looters? Where are they? For years, we watched black people.
Weren't they
loot.
just storming into a hotel?
Yeah, those weren't black people. Those were white people, and they weren't looting.
Oh,
They're
okay.
they're just people who don't have jobs and who smoke weed all day and do meth, and the other, that's only 5% of them. The other 95% that looks like the fucking media. Where's all the black looters at? How come they haven't mobilized the black looters yet? And I say that with the bias that I think that this shit's being mobilized. And I'm asking you seriously, because I don't know. I keep wondering, where are all the fucking black looters from the previous riots? Oakland, Baltimore, Minneapolis. Where the fuck are they?
I wonder
Well,
if
aren't
Alex,
these residential areas where people are, like, people who live there are resisting? This isn't the same as, like, a big city riot where there's stuff to steal. These are all happening in, like, neighborhoods.
What do you think about our theory that no matter what happens, the left will always go with whoever's losing. Like they don't care that
I don't
they
agree
don't
with that.
you don't agree with that they always identify with whoever's losing because they see that as the victim and they identify with that? You don't agree with
Trump
that?
lost the 2020 election and we all called it voter fraud, and they all fucking threw thousands of people in jail.
But okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Joe, do you think Alex Preddy had training to carry a firearm into an engagement where other people were armed and he was acting, if not as active opposition, he was acting as a kind of third party bystander? Do you think he was trained? And if you weren't trained,
No.
if you weren't trained, like I'm not trained, I'm certainly not going to strap a gun to my fucking hip and begin engaging in federal law enforcement activities where guys are
Well,
armed.
I mean, that's the Second Amendment, though. It doesn't require that kind of training to carry a weapon around.
Right. It doesn't require, but I think that if you carry a firearm, it should require some rational thinking. And to me, every action that guy has taken is irrational. Every action
I
is
agree,
irrational.
but if you don't require it to purchase the gun, then you're going to have what we have here. Just like Kyle Rittenhouse went down to a protest or riot with his AR-15. Like, you can't control for stupid if you have no restrictions.
Well, how come people aren't talking about this guy's actions as accounting for at least some large percentage of the blame as to what happened?
They
because
are.
no one
There's
is. Well, I can
yeah, like
objectively say,
Besant was just on the news saying that you don't bring a gun, you bring a billboard.
I disagree with that. I think he's fair to be armed, and I think he's fair to be there and protesting. I don't think he's fair to pull his phone out, start filming, and walking towards the agents. I also don't think it's fair for him or right or even rational to touch an agent. I don't care if you're armed at a protest for your own protection, but he put his hand on an officer.
I agree.
I mean, good Lord, that is. And I think this is Sevon's
there's
point.
the reason why. Yeah, there's a reason why you don't go into certain situations with a gun, because you're escalating the situation just by having one.
Absolutely. And to Sevon's point, gosh, it's just fucking jumped out of my brain. I lost it.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
Thank you.
Have
Thanks,
fun, y'all.
Joe.
Okay, bye.
Gosh, this is I just don't get it. I don't get how we're so incapable, like on such a large scale, to zoom out. And I guess I did the same thing. I did the same thing for 2 days. I was like, yeah, they shouldn't have shot him. But if he's rising to his knees and reaching for his gun, I think they should have shot him.
Dude, no cop in the United States wakes up in the morning and says, today I'm going to kill a fucking nigger. No cop wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to fucking kill a fucking fat Karen.
You're speaking in absolutes. I'm sure it's happened before.
That is not what's happening in the United States of America. What is happening in the United States of America is that you can go into a store today. I went into PetSmart. It's 2026. The store looks like you're fucking in Tijuana. When I was a kid, you could go into a Kmart, where all the poorest people shopped, and it's nicer than the fucking nicest Nordstrom's was today. We have watched civilization go into a mass decline. It's been okay for marauding groups of kids to rob stores all over California, non-fucking stop. We have women fucking being raped daily by illegal aliens. We reached a fucking critical point where we were tired of it. And the working class doesn't have time to take to the streets, or doesn't have the stomach to fucking fight back, or doesn't have the morals or the consciousness to fight back. So they elected Trump, and he's doing something about it. Now these unemployed fucking drug addicts and people who are on fucking welfare are protecting their nanny state. That's the big picture explained to its fucking fullest. We were excited as kids to get a job at $4.25 an hour working at McDonald's and save money so we could buy a BMX bike. This group of people is like, that's not enough. You can't live off of minimum wage working at McDonald's, and they've raised minimum wage to $30. Thus, McDonald's switching all to computers and people losing 10,000 jobs. It's just the victim class, dude.
I have two counterpoints to that.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I
Good
think
luck.
if you can,
Good luck.
if I can, yeah. Oh no, I don't need luck. So you have
Yes, you
such
do.
such a massive proportion of the left, it seems, at least which is portrayed by the media, to be thinking so irrationally and so violently against ICE and so violently against the deportations and all these people and every Trump supporters. It is fucking retard logic, Savon, to think that there isn't at least some percentage or one person who is an ICE agent or a cop waking up thinking that I hope a fucking Karen tries to fucking run me over today. I fucking hope. You're telling me not one single person. You can't tell me not one single person has had that thought. One, because you don't know. Actually, we don't know. And I see
Hey, listen, I see the manifestation of it. I've never seen video of a fucking 14-year-old black kid playing his trombone on his front yard and the cops would drive by and shoot him.
That's because that's not what they want to happen. I'm not saying that. I'm saying maybe you're an agent. Maybe you're an agent and you say, I fucking hope this Karen runs her fucking car into me.
I'll give you that. There's one. Yep. There's one out there that's.
Well, hey, let's fucking even go a step further. How many fucking guys who've served in the military hope they get to see combat? Are you fucking retarded? Hey, you sign up to be a fucking grunt in the Marines or you sign up to go into the teams. You want to see combat.
Listen, I'm not saying cops don't want to catch bad guys. What I'm saying is the vast majority of people aren't going out there and looking to stir up shit.
It doesn't take the vast majority today.
I agree. Once again, they were there to arrest a man who beats women.
I know that. I know that. I'm not trying to blame these guys.
Fucking guys, and someone interfered.
Yeah, I'm not trying to blame these guys. And this is the truth, Mike, just for 1 second, take a step back and be objective. Really? You can speak for every single ICE agent and law enforcement officer? How many fucking law enforcement officers have been fucking arrested for being completely corrupt? Have been arrested for police brutality? That now to pretend like that doesn't exist? Hey, of course it exists. In every job, there are people who do a bad job.
There's a difference between it existing and people like actively going out and doing that. I don't think anyone is signing up to be an ICE agent, Taylor, and you're going to be like, well, there's got to be one who's like, hey, I can't wait to disappear a 5-year-old kid today.
No, I don't think that there is, probably.
Yeah.
There might be. Hey, there was an ICE agent who was arrested for being a pedophile. That was on the news.
Sure.
ICE arrested him.
Sure.
So I'm sure he woke up every morning and said, I can't fucking wait to spank my fucking monkey to some kid porn.
Hey, and if you want to be really clear about it, I don't think pedophiles want to be pedophiles. Just like heroin addicts don't want to be heroin addicts.
I get that he means pretty much most of them aren't, but that's not the point. The whole point is this isn't LA in the 90s where 60 fucking people died and you didn't see any of it. It's 2026 where if one fucking person picks their booger, the whole fucking world knows about it. So if one fucking cop wakes up and says, if one ICE agent wakes up and says, I can't fucking wait for this fat bitch to fucking run her car into me so I can blast her fucking face off, that's all it takes. That's all it takes to start a fucking war. Holy fuck, guys. I'm not trying to say, oh, they're all bad. Open your fucking eyes.
Yeah.
Now the left has a fucking reason to say everyone does. And they're too stupid to make the fucking distinction between one bad person and an entire organization.
There was a comment here that I really liked.
I gotta pee again.
Okay. By Chase Bryant. Why does everyone keep saying they aren't trained? These guys are trained. At the end of the day, they're going to go home to their families. They did exactly what they're trained to do. Yeah. I honestly don't see, if I were to focus on anything that I saw in that video, if you were to be like the one thing that's like maybe questionable to me, it's when he shoved the second lady down. Other than that, like, it's not. I don't even need to see any of that stuff. My bias is you don't resist arrest. My bias is 100%. You do not resist arrest ever. And all the stats show, those are the people who get hurt. That's it. That's simple. That's simple. Hey, and the left's happy Preddy got killed. They love this. Caller, hi.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
I had missed part of the show, so maybe you talked about it. But one thing that I think we're glossing over, at least in this episode, is too many Americans have forgotten what good leadership looks like. You have people that actually think that Fry, Walt, and Biden, and Kamala, and the list goes on, are actually good leaders. Like, those people are the ones to listen to, and because those people and the media have largely said Trump is this and Trump is that, and I'm not here to grease Trump's knob at all, but if we're talking about who's a better leader, I mean, hands down, whether you love the guy, hate the guy, he is a better leader, right?
He's not a great leader.
But too many Americans.
You don't think Trump's
Too
a great
many
leader?
Americans.
No.
I do.
We can unpack that, but too many Americans live in Disney World fantasy, and they think that Tim Walz and the Fries, that's good leadership. And because those guys are saying we need to resist and ICE is bad and blah blah blah. When you live in Disney World in your brain, you're gonna go to the streets, you're gonna go get in the way, you're gonna get your car in the way, you're gonna impede, and you're gonna do all these dumb things. So I think really what we need to point the finger at is what people think is good leadership. We've all been under good leaders, we've all been under bad leaders. And at some point you realize, wow, that person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. And that person does. You know what? Let's actually take directive from that person. Let's lean on their leadership. But too many people, again, live in Disney World, and Tim Walz is a good leader. So whatever he says, I'm going to do. And that point, I don't think we can just gloss over horrible leadership and the manifestation of it, because that's what we're seeing.
Well, and here's the reality, and this is why I don't think Trump's a great leader, is where I think that Jacob Fry and Tim Walz are fucking wildly incompetent. I think the one missing element of Trump's leadership is, hey, he's willing to do the right thing despite not everyone liking it. And that's a really good quality to have in a leader, a really important one. But I think another quality, maybe not as important, but I think one that makes you a great leader is someone who doesn't completely just disregard 45% of the country and writes them off as fucking retarded, even if they are. Don't let the media win. Don't let those people win by having the opinion of you and you not caring or at least making an attempt to address it. I just think there's an unnecessary. No,
Yeah,
no,
I agree with
no,
you, Jeremy.
dude. I think that I mean, dude, I just think it's he doesn't give a fuck, and that's fine. But that's not going to help one of the main issues.
He doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Hey,
I think he tried. He tried long enough. And
one of the main issues in America now is that half of the country hates one another, and he's not doing a good job. He's not doing a great job.
Do you hate them?
No. Okay, that's true. Half the country hates the other half. But hey, dude, at the end of the day, he's the president now, and he's fucking accountable for fucking trying to do a good job there. So I just think that he's falling short. And the other thing is, I agree with Joe to an extent on the training thing. Here's the point. These ICE agents aren't trained to go into a fucking hostile environment and to root out a fucking insurgency. These guys are in fucking Afghanistan right now. Minneapolis is the equivalent to fucking, holy shit, Fallujah. I mean, dude, they are in the fucking hornet's nest. That's not their training. Their training isn't to go into a fucking entirely hostile environment, capture one bad guy while hundreds of people fucking scream and shout threats at them who are armed and dangerous. They were never trained for that. And if you can fucking show me proof that they were.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But to rewind,
Cops aren't trained for that.
The way you're talking about Trump is similar to anyone who's had a teenage child. You've tried everything for years to meet them where they're at. They want to act out in school. They want to get involved in drugs. They want to date the bad guys, whatever, the bad girls, whatever. You tried. At some point, it's like, hey, dude, like I'm trying. I'm not going to stop loving you. I'm not going to stop caring about you. I'm not going to stop trying. But, you know, at some point that person has to make better decisions. You know, unless you just literally hold their hand every single step of the way, every moment of their day until they're an adult, like there comes a point where that child has to start making better decisions, and you can only guide them to those hopefully better decisions. Trump tried, I think, for a long time while being attacked ruthlessly. Again, this isn't a Trump glazing session here, but he tried for a long time. And these people they're just unreasonable, man. It doesn't matter what happens. They'll spin it that it's on him or it's ICE's fault or it's the police's fault or whatever. And at some point, I think he just said, you know what, maybe F them. I don't know. I hope not. But can you blame him?
Mike and Joseph, yeah, I'm fully aware. That was a bit of hyperbole, but I don't think it was as much an exaggeration as you guys think it was. There are Antifa militants who are armed, attacking these officers in the streets, setting up ambushes. They're walking around fucking probably illegally carrying firearms. There are guys standing on their fucking street corners protecting their neighbors with AR-15s. There's guys like this carrying.
Last night they threw bricks at some ICE agents.
There's guys like this
they're
fucking walking down the street with a concealed gun and he doesn't have his concealed carry permit on it. So what do you think the situation that they are in is closer to? Do you think the situation that these ICE agents are are pushed into in Minneapolis, do you think that's closer to a war zone or a hostile environment? Or do you think it's closer to them coming to Mobile, Alabama, where everyone's going to fucking hold up American flags down the street and celebrate them for being there? What is it closer to? You are burying your head in the sand, guys. You're burying your head in the sand if you don't think that this is so way too over the line of these guys are in a fucking hostile war zone.
And this didn't exist back when Obama was the president. Tell me why. Like I want people to actually sit down and think about why, when Obama was deporting more illegals, why was this not happening? And why is it happening now so much?
And only in Minneapolis. Only in Minneapolis.
Exactly.
Ken, are you retarded? This is where Floyd happened. It's the same war zone,
Thank you,
dumbass.
Jeremy. I agree with Ken 100% there. Thank you. Floyd is more of a war zone in some parts still looks. I think the LA riots were crazy compared to what's going on. I think George Floyd was crazy compared to what's going on. You think this is as big as George Floyd? I don't even think it's 1%. I don't even think we're close yet.
Oh, I don't think it's only 1%.
I think it's just 1%. The whole fucking country was fucking riot.
Yeah, but it's fucking winter, dude. If this keeps going on a couple more months and the fucking snow thaws, everyone's going to be in the streets.
Let me just say this, and I know this isn't what you meant, but this is the truth. So infatuated with Trump, you can't see outside the picture. Do you know who you're describing there?
Yeah,
you're not. You're but he thinks he's describing people who are happy with what's going on. You are describing the left. They are so infatuated with Trump, they can't see outside the picture. They're completely obsessed with him. When he comes on the TV, these people talk to their TVs. It's absolutely wild. I'm seeing people post things like, I'm on the side of compassion. I can't believe what ICE is doing. And it's like, how come you're not making posts every time a woman gets raped? Caller, hi. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. No, the reason all this is happening under Trump's watch is because these democratic cities are protecting their money laundering and their voter base of illegal aliens.
Yes, they're freaking out because
Especially in
USAID got
Minneapolis.
shut down. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. The whole state government is helping all of the communist protesters, or whatever you want to call them. I don't know if you guys have seen on the signal chats that have been leaked.
Yep.
A guy broke into these signal chats. So you have state government officials on these chats telling all these people where to go to interfere with ICE. So at the state level, they're helping these people disrupt ICE. So
They're
there's
blocking-
a huge conspiracy there, and they're doing it to protect all of the money they've been stealing through the Somalis that are in Minneapolis. They have to protect that money, and they have voters that are there illegally voting for them, or they'll lose their power.
Hey, caller, I
That's
want to
what
read.
all this is about.
Caller, I want to read this to you, okay? Pam Bondi sent this to Governor Walz yesterday. Ready? She says, we will pull ICE out of Minnesota if you first share all of Minnesota's records on Medicaid and food nutrition service programs, including the Supplemental Nutrition Assistant Program data with the federal government. Seems like a fair request.
Correct.
Second,
Yeah, they won't do it.
repeal the sanctuary policies that have led to so much crime and violence in your state. Meaning, if you get arrested for rape and you're in jail in Minnesota, and you're an illegal alien, Pam Bondi's saying, hey, you have to let us know that person's there and come get them. You have to let us get rapists out of your jail who are illegal aliens. Seems like a fair request.
Yes, that's what's happening.
And
is that
third,
the local
and third, let me read the third
the
thing.
local authorities
Go ahead.
the local authorities are not doing their job. They're actually aiding and abetting these people. So when they're blocking traffic signals, they're in the middle of intersections blocking traffic. Those people should be arrested by the local police department, but the local police department is letting them break all these laws.
Oh, they've totally abandoned their citizens by not doing that too. They've abandoned all the small businesses again. They've abandoned keeping the streets safe for their citizens. Let me read this third one. And third, Pam Bondi says, we will take ICE out. This is the third thing she wants. Give us access to your voter rolls to confirm that Minnesota's voter registration practices comply with federal law. Holy fuck, man. Like, just hand that shit over. That seems like a very simple ask. And we will have ICE leave.
Now you know the reason why all this is happening.
Yeah, you just nailed it. She must agree with you. You just nailed it. All of those things are things that would remove the fraud in money and polling and crime.
Correct. But like last night, when they attacked the hotel?
Yes.
You know, those cops, those Border Patrol agents called the police. The 911 dispatchers in Minneapolis are instructed and taught instructed not to send police if ICE calls. I don't know if you guys know that. And the police never showed up.
I didn't know that. How do you know that? How do you know that?
Yeah. There was this guy I follow on X. He had all of the instructions for the 911 callers. And one of the instructions in there was highlighted, said if anybody calls about an ICE issue, do not dispatch the police.
Crazy.
Hey,
so that's what I'm saying. The local government, the state government, the local authorities in Minneapolis, they're all in on it with these communist people.
Yeah,
that's what's happening. That's why all of this is happening.
Mike,
they're doing it to protect their money. Protect their money laundering and their votes.
Yep. And it's bad. Thank
Mike
you.
and Joe, I'll concede, Mike and Joseph, I'll concede that the example of Fallujah and Afghanistan were exaggerations, but you have to understand there are people blocking ICE agents with their cars, surrounding them and ambushing them and throwing shit at them and bricks. That is happening. And
these whistles, we can't even watch a fucking video without these fucking whistles going on. I'm not saying it's as bad as an IED, but these guys are fucking being fully assaulted nonstop 24/7.
They blocked the entire police force and ICE force in with dumpsters in the streets, and they had to use fucking riot gear and tear gas and fucking rubber bullets to break out. They were surrounded. That's being surrounded and ambushed. That is an L-shaped ambush, dude. That's the same thing as an L-shaped ambush. These people stormed the hotel that ICE were staying at to attack them. So yeah, they're not IEDs, they're not AK-47s, but you're in fucking America, dude. You're not like as an ICE agent, that's not your primary job role, is to go into a wildly hostile environment. And you know what? If every one of those people had the fucking gun like Alex Preddy did, and if every fucking one of them was an armed Antifa fucking agitator, it would be worse because you're in America, worse than Afghanistan because you're in America and it's happening. That's crazy.
Hey, did you see that the Minnesota Timberwolves, I guess that's an NBA team, they postponed their game against Golden State at the Target Center after Alex Preddy was fatally shot, and they did a moment of silence for him at the game.
Good for them. Who fucking cares?
These fucking idiots. How bad is it? It is the craziness is everywhere. NYC hospital accused of mistaking NYPD cops for ICE officers, suggesting they should leave. This shit is just wild. These cops went into an ER in New York, and they could hear the nurses and doctors saying, "Hey, we shouldn't help them."
Hey, Ortega, you know why it would be worse than fucking Afghanistan? Because now the freest fucking country on earth, where your fucking girlfriend and your fucking kids live, and everybody becomes a war zone when they start shooting at fucking ICE. That's the whole point. That's the whole point, fucking dummy. In Afghanistan, it's our soldiers, not our fucking kids and women, our soldiers over there fighting a war. When it happens here, now all of our families fucking at risk. And that's what these people are doing. They're putting all of that at risk. They're putting everyone's fucking safety at risk at home. And now if these Antifa agitators and these fucking leftist protesters like Alex Preddy get what they want, and they're all armed and they're all agitating and they're all resisting and they're all assaulting ICE agents, what does it become then? I mean, come on, dude. You took fucking elementary school. 1 + 1 = 2. Come on, dude.
God, Steve Kerr is such a douche.
What about Nick Kerr? His son.
He's cool. He's cool. I like him. Cool. I have a great story on Mr. Beast that I'll have to save for tomorrow. A great story. Mr. Beast is pushing fake chicken to sell to your kids.
Is he really?
Yeah, genetically.
Chicken?
Yeah.
That's
hey,
disgusting.
Mr. Beast is teamed up with the Rockefeller Foundation. The head of the Rockefeller Foundation was head of the Bill Gates Foundation and was head of USAID under Obama. USAID is, the arm of the CIA that takes money places that otherwise they can't get there.
Oh, this is so. Hey, yeah, Joe, lots of veterans involved in the organizing. That's how they have such a system already with the whistles and roadblocks. Every third fucking reel I scroll past on Instagram is another vet saying, "I enlisted to defend the Constitution and I swore an oath, even if it means fucking killing ICE agents." Dude, like, that's pretty fucking bad. That starts happening here. That's pretty bad. And if there's fucking 5 more ICE killings and there's fucking another 100 angles and there's another fucking media hysteria, that's what we're going to fucking get, people.
Joe, I loved you, but in your description of the event, there's so much bias when you say that the cops approached him.
There's a lot of bias in our description too.
There's no world in which you can say the cops approached him within the context and relativity of the situation. If you're trying to, in no world have I ever seen people interfere with cops where it's the cops approached him. That's like I slapped a girl on the ass and I say her ass hit my hand.
And
it's
Joe
like,
also calling ICE deporting illegal immigrants a tyrannical government. So that's basically saying, hey, if a cop pulls you over for speeding, that's tyranny.
Wow, Silver's at 114. Holy shit.
Who gives up? Hey, dude, what can you do
Holy
with silver?
shit.
You should fucking read an economics book on precious metals. It's kind of
Holy shit, dude.
it's good bit.
Hey, dude, are you joking? Do you know what silver is?
Yeah. Do I know what silver is?
Do you know what its value is, though? Why it's so
What is its
important?
value?
It's the greatest conductor of electricity of all the
Okay,
metals.
let's say society collapses to the point of where the dollar loses all of its value and we no longer have a shared system of currency to exchange wealth, or as you like to say it, to exchange human energy. We now
Yes.
have that shared system of currency that's gone. Okay, what are people going to begin using? If we lose that shared system of currency, do you think we're just
Pussy.
going to
We'd be
start?
selling pussy.
Yeah, but do you think we're just going to start opening up factories to turn silver into semiconductors that can conduct electricity, and everything you're going to pay for is in blocks of fucking silver? Are you going to have a tool that you can use to break that fucking raw ore of silver into small fucking divisible units that now you can pay for small things? No, people are going to fucking trade bullets, guns, and food. So I get why you would say, hey, silver's valuable. But if you're really preparing for a disaster, I think that having a bunch of silver is kind of fucking useless. Also, how are you going to carry it with you?
No, there's no pushback there, but the implications of there being a silver shortage and the cascade of events that could occur because of it are real.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Well,
it's
if
like,
the dollar loses all its value, what am I going to do with fucking a whole bunch of silver? What are you going to do with it? Is that because now let's play it
no,
through.
hey, people are going to play. No, before people trade guns and pussy and food, people are going to trade with silver and gold.
No, they're
You
not.
don't think so? You don't think
Fuck
so?
no.
I
Fuck.
do.
Hey, dude, if gold equated to wealth, India would be the richest fucking country in the world. They have the most fucking gold, or close to it.
I think Japan does.
Well, listen, dude, like, what do you mean people are going to start trading with silver and gold? What about the 300 million Americans who have no silver and gold? They're going to start trading in silver and gold?
No, they're going to be fucked.
Okay, so 300 out of the 350.
And they're going to try finding other ways, other items to
Okay,
trade.
and what are you going to do to fend those 300 million people off? You're going to hit them over the head with a fucking chunk of silver?
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think both these ideas can coexist.
I just think that
silver is not going to lose its value.
Okay, well, but see, I don't know.
It's supply and demand, dude. It's supply and demand.
But here's
there's
the thing.
There's actually, it's not like silver's going up because of some imaginary reason or because of the psychology of humans. There's a fucking huge demand for raw silver, and there's
right
a
now there is, because
Yeah.
the economy hasn't fully collapsed. But let's assume an economic collapse to the magnitude that now the dollar's completely valueless happens. The only you're saying just scarcity on its own creates demand. And that's not true. Scarcity on its own doesn't result in people demanding. It's like saying, oh, there's a scarcity of gnats.
You're picturing
now
a
there's
collapse
demand for
yeah. You're picturing a collapse of complete fucking anarchy and Armageddon, right?
I don't see how it doesn't happen. I think if there's any collapse, it fucking results in that. I don't know. I just don't think it goes to trading silver and gold if most of the people in the country can't. The reason we use the dollar is because everyone can fucking do it. Everyone can use the dollar. That's why we use the dollar. We're not going to, out of nowhere, adopt a currency system now that only fucking 50 million people in America can use. The other 300 million people are fucking going to dictate that that's not what we're going to do.
There's a lot of people out. This is just adding to the story, but there's a lot of people who would prefer it be Bitcoin.
I just don't think that. And hey, and let's say society.
Hey, some currency is going to take its place.
Sure, I just think that food and services and guns and bullets, you can trade one fucking bullet at a time. I just think guns and bullets in America, that's going to be the currency, because that's the ultimate form of protection for yourself. The government's gone. No one's there to protect you. Gold's not going to protect you. Silver's not going to protect you.
Silver's not going to plummet. Silver is not going to plummet. These things don't go backwards.
Oh, that's a good call. Coffee, like cigarettes, tobacco. I just don't see, before we had adopted the dollar, it wasn't fucking just gold and silver. Like there were so many things that you could trade with.
Tulips.
And think about the things that are going to run out because production stops and consumption remains high. Production of bullets, it's going to stop if the economy collapses, and the consumption, if things go bad, is going to continue to stay high. Coffee, production may stop, consumption stays high. Tobacco, production stops, consumption stays high. So I don't know. I think possessing large quantities of commodities like that are far better than, I mean, call me crazy, dude, but food, you fucking can't have enough food. You have a fucking shit. That's what people aren't going to be I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. The retards are going to start by robbing for gold and silver, and then they'll be fucking dead in 6 months.
You have a different view. You have a more severe view of the collapse than I do.
I'm fucking clicking and clacking if shit collapses, bro.
What the fuck is anyone going to do with Bitcoin when everything collapses? Guns, water, food. Yeah, you guys have a different view.
Well, that's because you live in California, dude. You think you're fucking, it's always going to stay 75 and sunny.
God, the weather's so nice. Once again last night, all they're talking about is the weather on the news. I'm like, holy shit. I'm watching. I already have buds on all my trees.
Oh, dude. So do our
Spring is
growing
here.
season. Our growing season's so long. We're starting to get buds and there's snow on the ground.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Thank you for coming on this morning. I'm glad whatever plans you had got canceled. Boy, it's amazing.
I got to work out some more. What's amazing?
I'm just arguing with my friends who are liberals. All the liberals do is send me news articles. You know what I mean? They have no discernment for themselves. That's all my liberal friends do. They're like, the Washington Post says this, the Wall Street Journal says this. They have no discernment of their own. Oh, what's the workout today? Brad Asaraf.
Shut up, Brad.
Right? There you go.
Sorry.
Silver will rise in the short term due to confluence of factors, but demand will be satisfied and the money will be moved to other metals where price is lowered and supply calls for it. It is interesting. It is going to be interesting to see what happens to copper next. People will be trading lifetime memberships on Sentinel. All right. Tomorrow morning, I have over on the CF network, I have Jamie from the affiliate series I've been doing. Wednesday, Greg Glassman. David will be coming on Thursday. CrossFit Bison. Talk about the more affiliate talk.
Everybody was freaking out about some crazy bad storm. They're like, oh, we're going to lose power. It's going to be freezing for a week. It's already 45 degrees and all the snow's melted.
Trump sends Tom Homan to Minnesota to manage ICE after Pretty killing. I hope that's to keep the morale high for the guys on the ground. U.S. judge considers pause to Minnesota crackdown as Trump dispatches border czar. Scrutiny builds over killing of Alex Pretty. Trump sends Homan to Minnesota. What are the Christian Medell ends GOP bid for governor, says he can't support federal retribution against Minnesota. Yeah, the left owns Google.
All right, I gotta go hit a fucking wad. I gotta go Rick's the wad.
These are the same people who celebrated the execution of the CEO of United Healthcare walking to get a cup of coffee at 6:30 in the morning, and Luigi Mangione was shot him in the fucking back of the head, a father, husband.
Hey, Joe, love y'all. Fun convo. Curious to see what the investigation reveals. Open to being wrong as always. I'm open to being wrong too, but what I'm so not open to and really scared of is that these guys get put in jail for 20 years and they get fucking stabbed 20 times in the library like Derek Chauvin did. I think that's the scary part of this.
I know some fucking idiot said you're bringing up Chauvin because it's your favorite subject, has nothing to do with the story. It absolutely has to do with the story. We're in fucking Minnesota where the juries can't be trusted.
Yeah.
The prosecution can't be trusted. All right. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Thanks, Taylor. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Joe. Bye-bye.